With the Ghostbuster franchise nearly hitting 40, how does the new film Frozen Empire stack up? If I had to pick one phrase to sum up this film, it would be, it is okay. It isn't bad, it isn't great, it is simply average. If anything, it feels like a bit of a fumble from the platform that Afterlife had created. So let's have a look at the film. The movie is set 2 years after the events of Afterlife, with the Spengler family having returned to New York City to the firehouse where it all started in the original film. It is never totally explained though why they have taken up ghostbusting as a full-time job. The movie does have quite a few callbacks to the previous films, which are tastefully done in my opinion. Anyways, back to the plot. An ancient artifact is discovered, which invariably unleashes a new evil force, setting off a chain of supernatural events. You've heard it all before. Can the Ghostbusters stop it is essentially the plot. So, is the story any good? Not really, it's pretty weak. Inspiration was supposedly drawn from the 80s animated series when writing the plot for this film. Now, that sounds good on paper, but the film has so many damn characters, which becomes a problem when you're trying to fit them in one film. Many of the character arcs just felt suffocated. For instance, Trevor, played by Finn Wolfhard, is severely underdeveloped. The only character arc that felt like it survived was that of Phoebe Spengler, which just revolves around teenage angst from being excluded from frontline ghostbusting duties by a concerned family. Personally, the reason for the exclusion sounded quite reasonable for me, as she's a kid, but my partner said I was a grump, so maybe it's just me. Several new characters are introduced, but they all seem to be underutilised due to the amount of characters the film is already trying to fit in. For instance, Kumail Nanjiani portrays Nadeem, whose plot could quite easily have been left on the cutting room floor. The main villain in the film seems to be a departure from the conventional route of bringing back Gozer, which is commendable for its attempt at innovation. However, the execution of this concept becomes convoluted within the plot. The villain has a requirement of a human voice for liberation, which leads to an overly intricate plan for freedom, detracting from the narrative coherence. The film has a tendency to ignore what would be logical solutions in favour of contrived plot devices, which really frustrated me. The film also seems to dumb down supposedly intelligent characters in order to engage in inexplicably foolish actions, undermining their credibility just to try and push the plot forward. This happens a lot in modern films and I just wish it would stop. Furthermore, the narrative lacks a cohesive direction, resulting in what felt like at times a meandering storyline devoid of focus. Set pieces, whilst fun, appear disjointed and disconnected, failing to weave together seamlessly to propel the plot forward. Overall, these shortcomings contribute to what I felt like a sense of aimlessness within the film's storytelling approach. The visual effects in this film though stand out as a significant improvement over the original Ghostbusters, which I suppose is to be expected, or at least you hope it would, given the 4-decade gap between them. Notably, they utilise a blend of CGI and practical effects, bringing iconic entities to life in realistic looking ways. For instance, with fan favourite Slimer, the visual effects team developed new rigs that enabled seamless slime effects on actors in real time without having to cut away, which enhances the authenticity of the scenes. The overall visual presentation is striking, with vibrant colours elevating the film's aesthetic appeal. Moreover, the primary antagonist exudes a formidable presence, contributing to its impact visually. The cast also put on a decent enough performance and appear to be enjoying themselves. Carrie Coon plays the mother role well. Paul Rudd is, well, Paul Rudd like in most of his movies. You know what you're getting with him and you will either like it or hate it. It's nice to see Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson and Annie Potts come back in slightly more significant roles than the last outing, but I can't help feel they are just wheeled out for member-berry moments.
Hey, remember Ghostbusters? Oh, I remember.
Other cast members like Kumail Nanjiani and Patton Oswalt delivered solid performances and seemed generally happy to be in a Ghostbuster flick. The only cast member that I couldn't stand, and well, I'd rather take a cheese grater to my testicles than watch him, was James Acaster. But if you like his brand of comedy, then I suppose he was fine too. So, what further could be offered on this adequate but uninspiring instalment? It fulfills its primary purpose, I suppose, for dedicated fans and families looking for a simple outing to the cinema. As a product, it epitomises Hollywood's fixation on reboots, nostalgia, trying desperately to throw beloved IPs at a wall and see what will stick. If you have the money and need to switch off for a couple of hours after a hard day's work, then this film fulfills that need. If you want a deeply engaging story and genuinely funny moments, then probably best to avoid. If you've seen the film, let me know down in the comments what you thought about it, and if you haven't, are you planning on going to see it?